Well, thank God it's Friday. It is the last official work day of the week. Today being the last Friday also in the month of October 2020. Welcome to the platform. This is the pinnacle of all discussions. We take a look at critical issues as it affects our dear nation Nigeria and also as it affects our dear state Abia State. It is the last edition of the program for the month of October. Today being the last Friday and of course the last official work day of the month. The program comes up on radio every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday. We take a look at critical issues as they affect our dear nation, Nigeria. It is the pinnacle of all discussions. My name is Michael Oni. Now, this morning, we're taking a look at a very critical issue. Local governments and elections. There are two essential features of modern democracies. They help to establish, nurture, and sustain democracy and democratic political culture. Now, elections provide the electorate with the power to freely participate in choosing their leaders and in providing the much needed support and legitimacy to the state. Well, the local government elections in Abia State will take place. That has been slated for December. December when? That's December 19 on a Saturday. So 18th, December 18th in Abia State. That's on a Friday. So far, the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission has rolled out timeline of events and essential activities in the build-up to the election. Political parties on their part have also raised different concerns relating to the neutrality of the commission, the readiness of the state government not to interfere in the election, and the cost of forms. These are many more concerns around the minds of many Abians as we look forward to the crucial election that will take place on the 18th of December 2020. Well, this morning on the platform, we have the right person to answer all your questions and concerns. Professor Mkpa, the chairman of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, is our guest this morning on the platform on Flow 94.9 FM. Professor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Welcome to the platform.
Yeah, the name is Mkpa. Mkpa.
Mkpa. Thank you very much for the correction. Professor, it's your first time in the studios of Flow 94.9 FM.
No.
Okay.
I've been here a couple of times in the past.
All right. Welcome back to the studio. Now,
thank you.
So let's start from the beginning. Your appointment was greeted with mixed reactions. The opposition parties had no issue with your personality, no doubt about that, but they were not comfortable with your association with the ruling party in the state, the People's Democratic Party, in the past.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a normal trend, not just in Abia but elsewhere. Issues were raised, and even when I went for the clearance at the House of Assembly, some people raised the issue that Mkpa was a card-carrying member of the PDP, but it turned out to be untrue because there were verifications even before I appeared for the screening. People had gone to my local government area, to my village, to my ward, and searched out the membership register of the PDP. Contrary to their speculations, my name was not there. They wondered why a non-member of the party could have assumed a number of positions in the state. Well, any administrator would want the best of his people in positions of responsibility. I was not a member of any party when Ojuzo Carlo appointed me the Commissioner of Education in the state from 2003 to 2005. I was not a member of any party when I was appointed on merit to be the Vice Chancellor of Abia State University from 2005 to 2010. I was not a member of a party when I was appointed the Secretary to Abia State Government from 2011 to 2015. The appointments were purely on merit. because each administrator would want the best of his people to man positions of responsibility. And I was not appointed the chairman of APSEC because I belong to any political party. But you see, any administrator, as I said, would want the best. Somehow, it was also providential. I believe that God is behind every person's appointment, and whoever God wants to put in any position, God has a way of doing so. Therefore, political parties, I don't want to use the expression opposition because they're legitimate parties in the state. They are right to have that apprehension to ask the question, this fellow who has consistently been visible in every administration, could he not have been a card-carrying member? But the answer is no. In each case, I was appointed purely on merit and not on the basis of affiliation with any political party. So I want to seize the opportunity to allay the fears of everybody or all party or other, every party member, be it APC, ABGA, PDP, whatever you call it, that Professor Mkpa is not a member of any party, but must have been identified as somebody who has something to offer and is being consistent with every administration. So, it's biblical. Daniel served through 4 different administrations during his days. If you read the Bible carefully, he didn't belong to any of those people, but in each administration he was found capable of being in the administration. So if Mkpa is replicating that, I see nothing wrong about it. People should rather ask Professor Mkpa, what is the miracle behind your consistent relevance in governance?
So I think I will put that question to you, the miracle behind your consistent relevance in governance, because you've served the government of Ojiruto Kalu and TARG, and also the government of the present administration, Okezie Ikpeazu.
Well, I do not want to sound immodest, but the truth is that every administrator wants the best, and I make bold and in all humility and with gratitude to God to say that wherever I have served, I did my best. If you ask questions about the state of education in Abia State before I came on board and what the situation was when I left the place, people will tell you sanity was introduced into the system. There was no question of loitering by students. By 8 o'clock, every child was in the primary school or the secondary school. Records were broken, set and broken by our people nationally and internationally. We did marvelously well in our secondary educational system. And in Abia State University, ask questions. All the people that were in Abia State University when I was the Vice Chancellor knew that it was the dawn of a new age, unprecedented in the annals of that institution. I say this with all humility and with gratitude to God. And as SSG, the most thorny issues the governor shifted to Professor Mkpa to handle. I negotiated the minimum wage issue with labor in a way that amazed everybody. Abia is one of the states paying the highest.
Professor, permit me to cut your thoughts.
Thank you.
Perhaps their biggest fear is the neutrality of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, because you've been relevant in the past administration, and those past administrations were brought into power under a particular political party. So I'm asking, the neutrality of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, will the commission be neutral despite your relevance in the past government?
I have said it times without number. The fears are normal. It's normal to imagine that whoever appoints an individual to a position that the individual will play, to the sentiments of the appointing authority. It's normal for people to feel that way, but I'm saying it's not going to be so, because the governor has not in any way tried to suggest to me, directly or indirectly, that he has a preference for a particular political party. Why must he do so? The governor is not coming for a third term in office, so why would he not go for the best to man the local government system when he leaves? Why must he decide to influence the local government elections? Is it for them to vote for him again? He's not coming again. So I say to people, let them relax. Let them go out and cast their votes. And let them not be afraid of a non-existent fear. There's nothing to worry about. ABSEC has commissioners that are responsible and will do the right thing. That's what I want to say to all of them.
Interesting.
So there's nothing to fear about.
Let's go into the nitty-gritty of the election now. How ready is the commission for this election? Specifically, what have you put in place?
The commission is ready. The commission is getting ready. The commission will be ready. The commission is ready in the sense that we've rolled out the timetable that tells every political party what is got to be done at a particular time. The commission is getting ready because elections are a process. A couple of things will have to be done, culminating in the D-Day, which is 18th December 2020. And we are putting those things in place. As I speak, the voters register is being produced, and in a matter of days will be displayed for everybody to go and check out their names, and so whoever doesn't have his or her name will go and get updated. Again, we are putting facilities in place to begin the retraining of our staff and the training of the ad hoc staff that are going to perform the task. We are taking care of the production of all the sensitive and non-sensitive materials for the elections. So that's why I say we are getting ready. And I say we will be ready in the sense that by that day of the election, everything will be in place. The funds are not a problem to us. We are arranging with the transport unions for the mobilization of their vehicles that will transport the electoral materials from the headquarters to the various wards, 293 wards in Abia State. So everything is almost in place. There's absolutely nothing to fear about. Thank you.
Okay, is the commission adopting the voter register of the Independent Electoral Commission? I'm talking about the commission at the federal level.
Yes.
Okay.
There's no difference between that and what we have here. It's the same people, the same names. That's why we get from the INEC and display. So at the local level, at the state level, whoever does not have their name there would have to be updated.
Which the meaning there will be registration.
Sure.
For updating of the voter register. Interesting. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion, the last edition for the month of October 2020. And this morning, it's a very special morning because we're taking a look at some of your questions and your concerns concerning the upcoming election in Abia State that will take place on the 18th of December 2020. It's a Friday. And, I do have the man that have the right answers to your questions. Professor Mkpa, the chairman of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission. He's our guest today and he's been answering some of the questions. We will throw the lines open very soon, but let's look at the date. Is it sacrosanct? We have issues, the NSAS protests. The party primaries have been postponed for some of the major political parties in Abia State, and we have the election less than 45 days or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, for now, we believe the date stands unless we have convincing reasons to modify or shift grounds. But I believe that all the political parties can still do things to ensure that they, fit into the program. For now, the date remains sacrosanct.
Interesting. Now, the opposition, although you do not like that name opposition, but I'm a journalist. We have the major party and we have the opposition party. Now, the opposition political parties also fears that the local government election might be business as usual. Business as usual in the sense that the parties in Nigeria, the leading political party in a state, win all the local governments in some of the states that have conducted elections in Nigeria, local government elections in the country. Now, the government in power sweeping the polls. Sir, are you ready to make a difference?
Thank you very much. You see, I will not be in the polling stations. I will not be a returning officer. I'm not an electoral officer. I am merely an umpire. I cannot be in my office and determine what is going to happen in the field. All that I will require is for all political parties to go out and vote and defend their votes, and then make sure that what is brought onto the chairman to announce is the authentic result. So only a magician will tell you that it's going to be this way or that way. Only a prophet. I'm neither a magician nor a prophet. All that I assure people is that within the limits of my ability and capability, I will ensure that fairness is extended to all and sundry, that there's equal, level playing ground for all political parties, and that there will be justice at all levels of this electoral process. So, people should not be afraid when there is no reason to be afraid. The fact that it has happened in the past does not mean it must repeat today. That's why I say people should go out and vote and then do their best to defend their votes. If there are allegations of people truncating the situation and doing odd things, let people ensure that they protect their votes, because the chairman will be right there at the headquarters and not go round, and my commissioners are responsible individuals whom I have absolute confidence in the ability to ensure that the right things are done. So I want to allay the fears of everybody that APSEC is going to do its best to ensure credibility, to ensure transparency, to guarantee a level playing ground for all political parties in the state. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. We need to take a breather now. It is still the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, Friday edition. And when we return, I would like to ask you about the controversial cost of forms. We've had issues, some parties coming up to say, no, it can't be this particular price. It should be brought down. You have to let us through what is obtainable right now, and of course some other issues concerning the upcoming election in Abia State, talking about the local government election that will take place on the 18th of December. You heard the professor. He said the date remains sacrosanct, so stay tuned.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business, high-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
It is still the Friday edition of the program, The Platform, the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM. We've been having this conversation with Professor Mkpa, the chairman of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission. He has been speaking on the upcoming election that will take place on the 18th of December 2020. It's a Friday. And of course, the preparation of the electoral umpire, the neutrality of the electoral umpire, which has been questioned in so many quarters. You already answered some of the questions. But let's move on, Professor. Let's take a look at the cost of forms. Take us through the controversial cost of forms and tell us if it is obtainable elsewhere.
Well, Abia State's Independent Electoral Commission does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in the context of the Abia State society.
Okay.
And what concerns all the political parties would also concern ABSEC. We first announced that the chairmanship forms would go for 500,000 naira, while the councillorship would be 200,000. Now, we held a meeting and the political parties pleaded with ABSEC.
Under IPAC?
Yes.
Okay.
They pleaded with us to take another look at the cost of the forms. Even though we tried to justify our decision by the fact of increases in the cost of things, but I held a meeting with the commissioners and it was a brainstorming exercise. At last, we decided to yield to the plea of the political parties. So today, we agreed that the chairmanship forms would go for 400,000 instead of 500,000, and the councillorship would go for 100,000 instead of 200,000 that the political parties appear to have unanimously objected to.
Okay.
So it's moderate, because last time it was 350. Remember, the cost of things, couldn't have been as high as they are today. The cost of petroleum products today, everything is skyrocketed. So it's now 400,000 for chairmanship and 100,000. In each case, we removed 100,000. That's very generous and kind of us, isn't it?
All right. Well, now that we're talking about money, we're talking about finance. I think, Professor, sir, would you say that the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, as it is well funded for this crucial exercise?
Everybody would agree that even the federal government would not give the states all that the states would require. But to a very large extent, we do not have serious inhibitions when we talk about the election process. I think that the government takes it seriously, and government has done very impressively well in terms of funding at ABSEC. I mean, providing for all that we need. Okay. I don't recall anything that we have decided to request that was not granted. As I said, as I speak, we are producing the sensitive materials, the voters,
presently in production, the
yes,
non-sensitive and the sensitive
both
materials.
sensitive and non-sensitive materials. They're all in the process, and we don't have any problems with the funding.
Can you let me into the budget allocation for ABSEC?
I do not know whether it is proper for me to begin to. It's enough to say that whatever we are given is enough for us.
Approximately, if it is 1 billion naira that will be used for the conduct of this election, or if it is 10 billion. I'm sure Abians want to know.
I would be reluctant to reveal to you how much I am using to run this election, because it's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
It's ongoing in the sense that even though we are funded, I suddenly remember that X has not been taken care of, Y has not been taken care of, and I call back and say, sorry, we omitted this, we omitted that, we didn't take into cognizance this and FONSA. So I can't give you a precise response.
Right. Interesting.
Yes.
The commission recently announced plans to pay ad hoc workers who participated in the election, the last local government election in Abia State. So the people you're going to deploy in December 18, are they going to wait for another 5 years to get their pay?
The answer is capital no. The money to pay them is available as I speak with you. And
so
the money...
They should not allay any fear.
There's absolutely no fear about this kind of delay. I can't be certain about why the delay in the payment of the previous people. And we've looked at it, and then we've informed government that people who work have to be paid immediately, and that's why we put out a notice that those who have not been paid should quickly get registered and show evidence that they worked in 2016. And as soon as, in fact, today, I don't know, the closing date is about today.
Okay.
So we are going to pay, and the money to pay the ad hoc workers that we are recruiting now is available. So there's not going to be any delay at all.
Before I throw the lines open, Professor, I cannot but highlight the low development in our local government areas. Not only in Abia State, it cuts across all the states of the Federation. As an erudite scholar, what do you think is responsible for the level of low development in our local government areas?
One thing I believe would be inadequate funding. If the local government areas were adequately funded, they would probably do better than they're doing. But in fact, more important than adequacy of funding is the prudence of the managers of the funds released.
Can we say you're in support of local government autonomy?
Oh, sure. I am very much in support of local government autonomy, but it's the autonomy with checks and balances. It's not a license to freely use money the way they want. It is authority given to them with checks and balances. What I mean is simple. I would expect every local government area to draw up a budget for specific projects, which will also be approved by the executive, and then they go ahead to execute. Freedom to execute, but periodic report for us to know, look, you said you're going to execute XYZ projects in the course of the year before half the year. The quarterly review, we want to see first quarter, how much of the progress have you made? Second quarter, how much of the progress? Are there inhibitions? Are there constraints? How are you circumventing or grappling with those constraints? And the people must have to be told. There has to be transparency in the management of the funds of the local government areas, just as we demand transparency from the federal government, from at the state level. It has to be the same at the local government area levels.
But the governors are saying that they do not support local government autonomy. The state governors saying it's not possible. We should be able to take charge of what is happening at the local government level.
You see, decentralization, that's what we are talking about.
Yes.
Decentralization of authority of financial management. I'm saying give them the freedom, but monitor what they do to make sure that the funds are appropriately applied. When you give them this authority and this responsibility, the state government monitors. For example, I would expect the local government areas to manage primary education. They should manage and pay, and that's a load off the shoulder of the state government. So, I mean,
it should come with checks and balances.
Oh, sure, with checks and balances to ensure that there is no abuse of power. Just as we are shouting that there's so much centralization of authority at the federal, you see, so much in the exclusive list, no, should devolve to the states. In the same way, let's give some responsibility to the local government areas and monitor how they execute.
Interesting.
Thank you.
All right, we've been having this conversation with Professor Mkpa Agu.
Or the other way around.
Okay, Professor Mkpa Agu. I'm very sorry for that, Professor. The chairman of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, and we've been speaking on the local government election in Abia State and also some other issues as far as local government, the third tier of government is concerned. We'll take another break now. When we return, I will throw the lines open. I know you have questions, you have contributions. Professor is very much here, still very much here in the studio to answer those questions of yours. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. We have a thread on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Flow949FM. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform.
Hello, good morning, Samson. How are you?
I'm Michael.
Michael, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm Prof. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Innocent Akomas. I'm calling from Ikalanga North.
All right, Innocent.
I want to have two questions for Prof.
You're permitted to ask only one question so that others can participate. Thank you.
Okay, let me make a choice then.
All right.
I listened to your magnanimity in bringing down the cost of processing form for both the chairmanship and the councillorship. Do you have any preferential treatment for women who are likely to contest and who we know have very less muscle power financially? Do you have any considerations for them?
All right.
With respect to the payment of the forms, we do not, because we believe that there are in fact some women that are more financially comfortable than some men, and it becomes difficult to determine who is really in need and who is capable of funding it. If we go into that discrimination, this discrepancy between this and that, it will be a very difficult decision to take. I mean, there are women that are visibly and convincingly more financially comfortable than men. There's no doubt about that. And therefore, for now, the women have not complained. There hasn't been any official presentation or representation to APSEC from the body of women politicians saying that for XYZ reasons they are unable to pay the cost of the forms. If we have such, my commissioners and I would sit down and deliberate on it, but as we speak, there has not been any such presentation or representation to us, and so we can't take that decision unless they tell us they have a problem there. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. What's your name?
Ikechukwu.
All right, Ikechuku.
Okay. I want to ask you, do you have, because based on United Nations electoral observers treaties, do you have a budgetary allocation or provision for the medias and CSO, civil society organization, who will be covering who will be observing and covering the election to ensure a smooth, hitch-free election?
Yes.
And secondly, do you?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And secondly, do you schedule the timetable when election will run, so that we don't have a situation whereby they will be collecting results of the election at midnight? At night, at least if you vote, when will the voting start? Application of voting start only before 5 p.m. Everything stops. We start expecting results. You understand? Because the voting normal and not, it's not a millions of votes like an entire nation.
All right. Thank you for your question. Yes, Professor.
We have a program. We have a timetable for events. We know when the elections will begin, the voting will begin, and when it will end. We'll adhere strictly. We assure you. You see, when there are crises in a particular area, it becomes difficult for us to abide by the timetable. By the time scheduling. If people fail to come out in time, and very lately you have people trooping out, that will delay things. And therefore, we will adhere strictly to our timetable. Come out in time, vote, and go away. When you vote, don't loiter around. It's those that vote and stay back to loiter around to cause troubles. These are the people that make things difficult. And when there are crises, sometimes they block the vehicles and destroy things and make it violent. So by the time people travel from their various localities to the headquarters, it becomes late. So these are the issues, and that is why we call for responsible behavior on the part of all members of the society, of the communities, the electorate. Let us be civil, let us be disciplined, and then we will be sure that we abide by the timetable of events.
Interesting. Hello, good morning to you. Welcome to the platform.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, our guest, Prof.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Radio Senator calling from Government College, Omaya.
All right, Radio Senator.
Prof,
Yeah.
yes. Prof, I must say that your explanation in terms of payment of the political parties on their various candidates, I'm not satisfied with your explanation. Prof, you should bear in mind that the State Electoral Commission, Independent Electoral Commission, is a replicate of the INEC in the federal. If you can bear in mind, you know that it's a replicate. So if you work very well, the federal government budget for each of the election to be conducted. So we believe that the state government have budgeted for this election. And if it is budgeting for this election, there is no need for your commission to charge from the political party.
To do what?
It's not done that way. But we are surprised that you have not told us the amount of money being which you have willed for the election. And for that reason, because we don't have money, you are taking them. That is the truth. That is unfair.
He's speaking about the money being charged for nomination of forms, the 400,000 naira and the 100,000 naira for the councillorship positions.
As being too much or too little.
As it should not be charged.
Well, I do not know why it shouldn't be charged. It's been a tradition that it has to be charged. we will not go outside the norm. Lots and lots of things will need to be done. I mean, the ABSEC office has to be run. And it is through such monies that the ABSEC, remember, we're independent. We are not supposed to be funded by the state government. So it is through the sale of forms and other minor fees that the office is sustained. If he is saying that the state government will be funding us, then we run into the temptation of not being independent. So I would advise people to think through.
We need more on voter education at this stage, because at the federal level, if an INEC charges the candidates, that's after the primaries, INEC charges the candidates for a specific fee for their forms. So some of these things are not in the public domain for people to understand some of the nitty-gritty of election conduct in the country. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
My name is George. I'm calling from Abia. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Prof, you and I know that who pays the piper inside the town. Am I lying?
Go on with your question. What's your question?
Okay. My contribution on this is to Mr. Prof. It would be a great thing if we give Nigerians free, fair and credible election, and his name will be written with gold in heaven. But if the reverse becomes the case, law of karma will take place. Our advice to him is to give us free and fair education, because the state government has paid us, the local government has paid us things, but if he gives us free and fair education, free and fair election, so that the state government will not hijack our local government again. The local government is the government that is very, very closer to the people. Prof, it will be a great thing if you give us free and fair election, and do not allow the state government to influence you with money. Please.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to respond to that, Professor?
I think it's a word of advice.
Okay.
And I say thank you to him.
Hello, good morning to you. Oh, move away from your radio set, please. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Lawman, the prophet from Umaya.
All right, Lawman.
Prof, whenever I hear you speaking, in fact, it gladdens my heart, because I wish you would become my class teacher, so that at the end of the day, I will speak the way you're speaking. I thank God that government of Abia State picked somebody like you. But there is a place I have problems. And leave. How will they be able to?
Can you take your question again, please?
Now, if you tell people vote and leave the environment, how will they be able to protect their vote? Because sometimes it is in the along the road, or where in the collection center where some things are being manipulated. How will they be able to protect their vote if they don't vote and go to their houses? So that is what I want to know. Thank
All right,
you very much.
Lawman.
Thank you, Mr. Lawman. I continue to ask people not to be afraid. ABSEC is poised to do its best to ensure that there is going to be credible election, there's going to be transparency in the election process. There is no need to fear. When you begin to fear, you begin to tell us that you don't have confidence. And when you don't have confidence, there's nothing anybody can do to convince you that the right thing has been done. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that ABSEC is poised to do everything humanly possible to ensure that credible elections are held in Abia State. There's going to be a level playing ground for all political parties. We shall not allow any interference by anybody. in the election process, give us a chance. Give us a chance. And I plead with everybody, give us a chance. Don't stay in your house and conclude if you lose the election, it was manipulated. Because once any person loses, it was manipulated. The opponent will say it was manipulated. Every other person will say it was manipulated. For goodness sake, we pray you to allow us a chance. We assure you that the right things are going to be done. Don't be afraid. There is no need to be afraid. Come out and vote.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. On the SMS line, this one says, good morning, and Michael, please, I just tuned in and overheard you talking about ad hoc staff recruitment. Please, I just want to know how one can apply for this position. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Frankly, today is the last day we have allowed people to apply.
Okay.
We've listed a number of positions. Whatever position you want to occupy, you go to the electoral officer in the local government area where you want to work. Interact with him or her, submit your application, and your name will be listed. We need people. We need Abians, we need everybody in the state. If you are interested, you go. You have a level playing ground. It's not limited to adherents of a political party. No. Every Abian is free. Just go to the electoral officer in the headquarters of the local government where you would want to work. Submit your application, perhaps a photocopy of your credentials, so we can be sure that what you are applying for, you qualify for it.
Thank you very much, Professor, for being part of the program this morning. Eric Bassi on the Facebook page says, good morning. The issues of elections should be portrayed an image of democratic electoral system, not selection. Leading party, because the power of incumbent, it must be free and fair. Carry go. Uzodima Destiny says, I think payment of 400,000 for applicant and chairmanship and 100,000 naira for councillor should be done after primary election from all political parties. Professor, can you re-emphasize the reduction in cost of forms before we step out of the studio this morning?
Yeah, initially we at APSEC had thought that the chairmanship position purchase of forms should go for 500,000 naira, and then the councillorship should go for 200,000 naira. The political parties held a meeting with APSEC and pleaded with APSEC to bring down the cost. APSEC has a listening ear. In line with their plea, we decided to bring it down, even though the cost of things, is still as higher than the costs were in 2016, when the fees were councillorship 100,000 naira. So we've not really moved it higher.
Okay.
We've merely added 50,000 naira onto the chairmanship, because in 2016 it was 350,000. We added just 50,000 onto it to make it 400,000 now. So the fees remain 400,000 for the chairmanship and 100,000 naira for the councillorship. No 10 kobo was added onto the fee for the councillorship, but only 50,000 for the chairmanship. I think that's fair enough.
All right, Professor Mkpa Agu Mkpa, the chairman of Abia State Independent Electoral Commission. Thank you very much for your time on the platform this morning. Hopefully we have you some other time so that you can educate us more on the election coming up on the 18th of December 2020, and also to have some of your commissioners to come here regularly on Flow 94.9 FM to educate the people of Abia State on the election. Thank you very much once again. Many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze, and also catch this edition of the program on our YouTube page, Flow FM TV. Many thanks to the guys behind that platform. My name is Michael Oni. The program returns on Monday. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.